The problem with higher education now, and I kind of noticed this when I was in college myself. I went to college in Boston, Massachusetts at Northeastern University. It's like a pretty prestigious school. It's like a 6% acceptance rate. And I started to see the happening then. I'm older. I'm 35. I know you're 30. So I graduated college in like 2013 because Northeastern was a 5-year school. And I saw like people starting to get uncomfortable with the use of the word or calling things gay or anything. So I was like, oh, wow, this is getting really woke. Actually, I was there right when the marathon bombing happened.
Oh, wow.
I was there when the Sarnav brothers did the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like I already started seeing this whole woke like taking off from there. And then I can only imagine like how bad it is now. I don't know if you've been in.
There's, I've talked to kids, the younger siblings of my friends from like high school, and they tell me at the high school I went to, I graduated high school in 2014, and back then only the band room and like one English teacher had a pride flag in the class. Apparently now every single class has a pride flag.
Dude, that was unheard of growing up for me. Like there was no, we didn't. I never saw a rainbow flag until I became an adult. Right, like you would pledge allegiance to the flag. There was only an American flag in the classroom. You know, you stood up every single day, pledge allegiance to the flag, and then start class, or whatever. But like now, it's like
Pledge of Allegiance was stopping when I was in junior high. Throughout elementary school, it was Pledge of Allegiance every day. Then in junior high, it slowly stopped. After freshman year of high school, there was no one did the Pledge of Allegiance anymore.
What?
You get
it
some
ended in high school.
Teacher who's like, if you don't feel comfortable standing for the pledge, you don't have to.
That was the furthest it went for me, and it was like one stupid black teacher in my school that used to say you don't have to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance if you don't want to. Like one of these pro-black stupid ass. That like he would say that, but like every other teacher was like stand, and we all stood and everything. But like there was that one teacher obviously trying to be, look at me, I'm liberal, or I'm veggie, I'm progressive. But now it's like, and then I think with Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, that was a huge cultural shift as well. Honestly. I was talking about this. I've talked about this with a couple of people, and I think we've all kind of come to the same conclusion. Because I thought I was alone when I thought this. I think the Obama era, from 2008 to like 2016, created so many problems, not just like politically, but also culturally as well.
Yes,
they blame Trump a lot for beginning the divisiveness, but Trump was a reaction to Obama.
Yes.
Obama. I mean, I agree completely. Like that's when BLM. Started kicking up maybe 20...
The gay marriage, people forget that Obama was the first president to like federally recognize like gay marriage, and that's a slippery slope because the thing what I've noticed with like liberalism, right? It's like a Trojan horse. Like, so first it's civil rights. After civil rights, the women. After the women, it's the gays. After the gays, it's the... And then now, and we're right now in the chapter because liberalism always brings in more bullshit with it, right? And this is why
it's never enough.
It's exactly, and this is why I've always had a problem with feminism because as I've gotten older, I've realized that feminism is literally just a gateway to all the other bullshit.
Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
And hello, I am Gavin McInnes.
Together, we're Compound Censored.
And we'd like you to subscribe to our network that has more fantastic content you could shake a stick at. Use this promo code for a one-time super offer.
Do it. It's uncensored and oh so entertaining.
Right? Because and then the biggest proponents of feminism are white women, right? And they bring in the fucking white, and they're actually 9 out of 10 times.
Well,
they pretend to be white, but then you figure out real name is Goldstein or some shit, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the leaders are, but the white women eat that shit up.
They do.
I know.
And then they demonize you guys.
Yeah.
White man privilege. I didn't benefit from it. It's just them. So glass ceiling. I'm with you guys. I'm marginalized too.
That's even a thing. White women benefited from white privilege more than anybody.
Yes, because they're able to double dip.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this. So like the problem with feminism is this. Women are able to do what I call like the proverbial double dip, where they're able to, on one side, be able to get all the rights and privileges and benefits of being a man in the authority, with none of the fucking responsibility. Yeah. Then on the other hand, they're able to also claim victim status, be treated like a lady, get married and get to a rich man if they want or whatever. So they're able to double dip. And if they're white, they've been able to come up with this white privilege that they claim that they have while still siphoning off the same benefits that, DEI, affirmative action offers other minorities. So it's like a fucking triple whammy for them. Yeah. So they benefit the most. So of course they're going to be stupid and say, I'm going to go ahead and march at this pussy march or whatever. But I'm glad to see like more young white guys are being conservative, and I'm trying to wake up the fucking well. And the other people, like the Arabs, right? They're waking up and realizing feminism is a problem, right? Voting left doesn't help you.
A lot of the blacks, we've said this in several videos, like, don't be mad at white people, be mad at it's not even white people that run the country. Yeah. But then a lot of the times I say, are white. And that is actually so offensive to me. That's the only time I get offended.
You know why they say that? So check this. I got in a debate with this fucking retard Tariq Nasheed one time, right? Mm-hmm. And people try to, and I got in a debate with him. I was like, because he thinks white supremacy or whites are the same as. I was like, really? Okay. So let me get this. Well, and his wife is Jewish, by the way, too, which makes it even fucking funnier.
That's
right?
Perfect, yeah.
But what he tries to put them all together, and I was like, no, dude, there's a big difference because a lot of the grievances you have, like whether it's being exploited in the music industry, entertainment, all the other shit, it's not white people that run that. It's and they change their name. And I was like, and he's like, oh, it's all the same. I was like, okay, if it's the same, do this for me. Go ahead and talk about power then, and let's see what happens. Oh, I'm not about to crash out. Exactly, because you know what's going to happen if you talk about. But you can sit there all day and talk about white supremacy. Yeah. You can shit on white people all day. Nobody gives a fuck. Yeah. You can sit there and say you're a black nationalist and say black power. But if a white person says, oh, white power, I want to preserve my race, banned, cooked. Like, it's just coming out now where people are able to be pro-white on social media. Yeah. It used to be a death sentence to your career if you ever did this shit. So, I find it interesting how, like, black nationalists can openly do it, talk shit about white supremacy all day, and then, but they're too scared to talk about this because they know who really runs shit. So.
Tells you everything you need to know. The fact that who's the one people you get in trouble for talking about is the I don't know. That tells.
Wasn't it
that kind of stuff? I think.
It was a lawyer who helped start the NAACP or something.
Oh yeah, they ran the civil rights movement, dude.
Yeah.
They were Martin Luther King's backers. They were the ones that funded and pushed the civil rights movement. They were some of the most progressives when it came into that. Like every single big liberal movement, when you actually like look into it and see who the thought leaders were, it's always a Goldstein or a Berg fucking somewhere. And the thing, why so many people don't realize this is because they change their surnames on purpose a lot of the times. Or people are just ignorant and they'll see them and they're like, oh, well, you look like you're white. But they don't classify as white. They'll shapeshift. Like Ben Shapiro got caught in an interview one time, in a debate, with the 20 verse 1. Yeah, oh, are you white? And he was like, well, it depends on how I, blah, blah. Reality translation. If it benefits me to put white, I will. But if it doesn't, which is most of the time, I'm going to put Jewish. Because they see themselves, and they're honestly not lying. They do see themselves as different. They don't see themselves as white at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they know they're not white. They do it to fit in when it makes sense, but
it's their own. Like they have their own ethnicity. So, but yeah, no, it's great to see like the change because with the Obama era, man. Because I wanted to finish what you were saying with that. Because people forget that Trump kind of just ran to run. I don't think he thought he was going to win. Yeah. He kind of did it more like, let me just run and say I did it when I do my next season of The Apprentice, right? Because a lot of people forget that he was a TV star before this shit, right? A real estate mogul, TV star, didn't really need the money, didn't really need it, ran on a whim, let's fucking try it, and he won. And he was like, oh shit. And, people complain about his first administration, how he didn't do too much or whatever. Yeah. Dude, number one, he didn't expect to win. You could tell on the night that he won, he's like, oh shit, I won. Yeah. Hillary had there were Time magazines ready to go. She had newspapers ready to go. She had a bunch of merch ready to go. She did not think she was going to lose. It was a huge upset when she lost. So when he won, he didn't know anyone in Washington, D.C. He wasn't a fucking swamp creature. He wasn't a politician. The guy was based out of New York. So he had to go ahead and get a bunch of establishment shills in his first administration. He couldn't get anything done. But people voted for him despite the fact that they didn't know what the fuck they were getting into because they were so fucking tired of the BLM, the wokeness, the gay marriage, the social acceptance, we're going to go ahead and, praise black people for everything that they do and not criticize them. So I think that was Donald Trump getting elected was like a very honest fatigue. It was the beginning of black fatigue is what I think.
Yeah. That's when I started to I was young when it happened. I was like 20 or 21 when he won. And that's when I first started waking up, seeing the response, all the liberals freaking out like, oh my God, the KKK just took over America. In 2016, everyone was saying that right when he won. It was that woke back then, too.
I remember wearing a Make America Great Again hat, which I had one back in 2015, 2016. When I would go back to visit my friends in Boston, if I would get stares and people would want to be like, you would get attacked, bro. Like someone would at least say something to you, or in some places people would actually physically assault you. Like you forget how bad it is back then, because he was so, that rhetoric was so out there. Because like, and I show this all the time to my people, right? I show them the Mitt Romney and Obama debate. So civil, so polite, so nice, posh politicians. Yeah. And then you get fucking Trump in here, you know, talking shit to Hillary, saying, you know, you get all the benefits that my donors get, all this other crap, whatever. The people that, or the people, I do the same stuff that all your donors do when it comes to evading taxes, like just like being raw. And this is something we've never seen in American politics, right? So it was like, people looked at it like, well, what is this, entertainment TV? And they just said, no, we don't want this in Washington, D.C. So when he won, it was like, you know, it was refreshing for us, but at the same time, it created a lot of panic for like establishment Democrats. Yeah. And yeah, dude, I remember vividly, if you had a red hat on in Boston, Massachusetts back then around that time, you were going to definitely get heckled 100% or even assaulted.
Totally. Yeah, they were saying the red hat's the new KKK hood. And looking back, now that it's 2025, I think the reason the attitude has changed is because we did have to live under that tyranny of wokeness for so long. Because it's like in girls that, I said this the other day, but girls who posted the black square for BLM and all that stuff.
So gay.
Now, so gay, but a lot of those girls now, they're probably even still liberal or whatever, but now they're laughing at the George Droid memes, fentanyl reactor. Have you seen those, George Droid?
Yeah, I haven't seen George Droid, but I've seen like George fentanyl, and which you know, another controversial. Ben Shapiro is also saying this too, but he's doing it for different reasons. I've been saying for a minute that Chauvin didn't get a fair trial, and I think he needs to, because there's no way he could get a fair trial. They needed to fucking bury him because they didn't want the city of Minneapolis to go under fire. But he did not get a fair trial. They went after him. It was a fucking witch hunt. The technique that he used with the knee on the neck, this is something that was taught by the Minneapolis police department. And then I didn't know this, but like I did a show with like Andrew Branca. He's a self-defense attorney, and he was saying like how his attorney, basically what they did, what the Chauvin prosecution team would do, because there were so many prosecutors on that case just trying to make a name for themselves, they would file frivolous fucking documents every day of the trial, and Chauvin only had one attorney. So he'd be up all night fucking responding to that shit. He'd come into the next day, and he would be drained, right? And there was no way he was going to get a fair trial in the state of Minnesota anyway. No. So that case is a travesty. I think the best thing that happened to him actually was getting it charged federally so he can get out of Minnesota and be into the federal penitentiary system. Because in the state system, I don't know if he would have survived. Granted, he did get stabbed while he was in the federal system, but at least they can move him around,
Chauvin got
by like a DEA informant too. There's some like random fucking idiot stabbed him, but at least they moved him out. But in the Minnesota state system, who fucking knows? It would have been even worse. But but this is just where we are now, where it's like it's completely wild. But again, that was under the Biden era, of course.
I'm hopeful that things are changing. The young men are all awake. Andrew Tate was a huge part of that. And just like the fact that all the young men are incels, I think, how could you not wake up? Like I think like at least half of the young men under 25 are incels. I bet it's more than half. I was, oh my God, there was a study that came out, I think like in 2020 or 2019, something like that, not too long ago, where something like 50 to 70% of men have are either virgins or only had sex once in the past year. Yeah. Like, most guys are definitely like celibate to a degree, or virgins. Oh yeah, the
involuntary celibate.
For sure.
I saw a similar study. Men who have had sex in the past year, in like before Instagram came out or before Facebook came out on the iPhone, so this is like 2012 or 2013.
Oh shit.
The percentage of incels was like 3%. 3% of men had not had sex in the past year. Instagram comes out, well, the iPhone comes out, then social media comes onto the iPhone, and within a few years, we go from 3% to 30%.
You gotta send me that. I want to read that, because
I'll find that.
Obviously, after, but like that's because, dude, I've been saying it for literally since like 2018 that I truly do think that social media was the beginning of the end. Now, for men, we're seeing the immediate consequences. Girls get better options. A lot of guys get ostracized from the dating marketplace. They become, womanless, girlfriendless, and then eventually wifeless. With women, it hits them later because what ends up happening is they're on the social media, they exploit the social media, they get a career out of the social media or opportunities out of the social media. They stay on the cock carousel longer because, why not? And then what ends up happening is by the time it's all done, they don't have anything to show for it, right? You look at, I'm looking at some of these Instagram models now that were big 10 years ago. Jen Selter and the bitch with the eyebrows, I forget her name. A lot of these
Bad Baddie.
There's so many of these
Rose.
a lot of these IG models, right, that were famous 10 years ago when Instagram was just start popping off, being an influencer was a thing. All these girls are single now and don't have a guy, right? And now they're kind of seeing the consequences of what social media does and social media fame does for women. So for men, it's immediate. You're going to get hit a brick wall. For women, this looks great and everything. You get all these opportunities. NBA players are hitting you up and shit. But then later on, you realize, oh shit, I can't find anything.
And then they're used to getting with these guys who normally they wouldn't have access to. And then when they're older and single, they still think, these are the guys in my league, and it's no. The guys in your league, you would cry if you saw the guys actually in your league.
Yeah, that's, with women, man, it's actually very scary. Women, and I've realized this from between looking at studies, talking with people, talking to almost 4,000 girls on our show now at this point, whether, from all different levels. People say, you only bring OnlyFans girls on. No, those are just the ones people remember. We have panels of 6 to 10 girls. A lot of these girls are regular chicks, have a regular job, maybe they go to school, they have maybe some of them even have a boyfriend or whatever, a family, or a single mom. And regardless of education, background, where they're from, etc., one thing stands that I've noticed. There's a couple of prevailing things, and one that I'll talk, since it's relevant to what we're talking about, is the chronic overestimation of their own sexual market value in relation to men.
Yeah.
So men chronically either get it right or undervalue themselves. Right, a guy that's maybe a 9 will say, I'm a 7 or a 6, whatever, unless he's black, because black dudes are retarded.
Yeah.
Right, I'm the nigga, right? Some stupid shit like that. But guys that are rationally sound and not retarded, named Jaheim, will typically put themselves where they stand realistically or below. Women, however, chronically overvalue themselves. It's really fucking weird. I've done an experiment where I say, rate yourself 1 to 10. And if we don't give them any guidelines, all of them will say 10, 11, 20 out of 10. And it's oh shit, you guys are serious about this.
I feel like a 10, so I'm going to say 10. It's an attitude.
Or it gets you better too. If a girl does give an honest one, I'm a 6. The other girls at the table will say, no. You're a 10. So it's all the stupid female stereotypes. It's sometimes I love to watch it just play out because I'm and I show the audience, this, guys, look, you're seeing it right now in 1080p. This is how women think. Right? Or a girl will say something, one girl was talking about how she's involved in sex work or whatever, and all the girls were enabling it. I was yeah, that's probably a problem. No, why not? Why let her do what she wants? This is her life.
It's making her happy. It's her life. Yeah. They gas each other up. They lie to each other. They encourage bad behavior in each other. It's really wild. What Michael and I say all the time is women. And I think it used to be like this, but ideally women just wouldn't be left alone with each other. They'd either have their father or an older brother supervising.
Yeah.
Don't leave them alone with each other. They're going to gossip. They're going to lie to each other. They're going to create drama. They can't be trusted even to be left alone with each other.
I've said
unsupervised.
And here's the thing:
get on a phone call with your girlfriend, it's supposed to be kind of funny and provocative, but I think it's actually true.
No, dude. I'll take it a step further. It's an absolute fact at this point. Just people can say that's anecdotal, bro. I don't think there's anyone on fucking earth that's talked to more women than I have from different walks of life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is irrefutable that women give each other extremely damaging advice a majority of the time when it comes to what it takes to attract and, most importantly, retain a man. They give each other advice that is destructive to relationships, and I'll explain what I mean by this. So, what will happen is a girl will give a grievance about her man. He doesn't take out the trash. Or she'll complain to her friend. Most of the time, a good girlfriend will say, bitch, shut the fuck up. He takes care of you and everything. Stop complaining. what they'll do instead, because women want to be heard and feel like they're being heard, and because they don't want to solve problems, they tell their problems to like just be heard. The other girls say, you know what, you could probably do better. Mike likes you, right? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like they almost like sabotage their relationship every single time, especially if friends are single. I think one of the most pernicious things a girl can do is hanging out with her single friends when she's in a relationship with a guy. Yeah. Because those girls will sabotage that relationship. The only time I've ever seen it work is if like the women she hangs out with are also in relationships with similar-minded men that aren't pussies and keep their girls in line. But if your girl is friends with single girls and you don't have iron frame, they're going to totally try to sabotage the relationship.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even think women really have real friendships. I think they all secretly hate each other. I've seen, growing up going to church, I would see these girls be best friends, and then 3 years later, one of them steals a boyfriend from another one, and then they hate each other forever after that. And I'm like, well, I think it was fake the whole time. I think you were just the two cute girls at church, so you hang out with each other, but I don't even think the friendship was ever even real.
One thing I've noticed about guys versus girls is with young men, right? Or with guys. Let's say I met up with my friends from high school. We would connect like nothing changed, watch some fucking Dragon Ball Z, reminisce, this is fun, awesome. Like, it's like we never grew up, right? With women, it's not like that. It's like they go through a different group of friends throughout different phases of their life. Right? The friends that they have in high school a lot of times don't tend to be the same friends that they have in college, and the friends they have in college don't tend to be the same friends once they get into the professional world. And I think a part of this also is because, whatever, I was going to sound very fucked up, but I'm going to say it. Women are predatory by nature. And what I mean by this is they're designed to extract value for their survival, especially from men. But I think a lot of women also do this with other females. Now, here's the difference. Girls aren't stupid socially. They can pick up on things way faster than we can. It's actually one of the few things that they can do better than us. It's like they're able to go into a room and quickly pick up social hierarchies and ideologies right away. So when women are around other women and girls try that bullshit on them, they pick up on that. Okay, I can't trust this bitch. That's weird that she's asking me for this or whatever. Like, you're going to try to get me. Now, she'll never vocalize this, of course. No. But she'll be like, yeah, this girl thinks that I'm like some fucking sucker. Because since women do a lot of the finessing, they can see when it's coming. Now, the reason why I know this, right, is because I've had a lot of strippers come on my show. I've had strippers work for me before. And I've also had that, like, I've dated a few of them and shit. And I've seen it at a very high level where girls that are like dancers, since they're pro fucking finessers all the time, they can't turn it off. The best strippers can't turn it off. They're always trying to finesse. They never can stay friends because, oh, you're trying to finesse me, or you're trying to get me to do this for you, whatever, because they do that to men all the time. It's hard for them to turn it off. So that's obviously the most pronounced, right, version of females finessing each other. But this goes to like regular girls as well. And I started to notice this once I saw it at that level where it's like very obvious. Then I started noticing it with like regular women doing it to some. So like with strippers, it's like, oh yeah, like can you lend me $500 or $1,000? I'll pay you back after I do a dance. But like with regular girls, it goes down to something like, hey, can you give me a ride here, blah, blah, blah. And then they start to get comfortable and see how many more rides they can get out of that girlfriend. And then girl will feel used and like, you know what? And women don't confront each other. They'll just stop talking to each other or like play the silent game or whatever. Like, oh, I feel like this bitch is using me, so whatever. And then they have this weird Cold War standoff where they don't even talk to each other, and then they get pissed. So
on social media, they talk and act like there's a woman community. The thing about women, like all women are on the same team, and there's not. There's women hate each other. No one hates women more than other women, and
because they understand each other.
Yeah,
because like literally like this. That's just one thing I mentioned. The whole finessing thing and like using thing. That's just one of the reasons. We haven't even got into like competition with how they look, how they dress, fighting for male attention or higher status men. There's a multitude of reasons why they hate each other. But like this, silent treatment battle of the minds. This is why like they sabotage. Oh, she's a slut. You shouldn't hang out with her. Right? They'll do shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Encourage the hot friend has nice, like, beautiful long hair, and she's like, I'm thinking of cutting it short. Terrible idea. Like, I think probably like 90% of guys prefer long hair.
Yeah, at least.
And all of her friends are like, oh yeah, cut it. Cut it this short,
Get that.
Eat a cheeseburger, right? Eat a cheeseburger. You're too skinny.
Get more tattoos. Yeah.
Well, they're all competing, so it's like, oh, take this girl's competition, take her down a notch, The haircut thing pisses me off. I see that all the time.
The short hair. Well, and girls, when girls dye their hair, we need a dictator to come in and be like, no more tattoos for women. No more. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
No more green hair. No more buzz cuts. Like, when a woman has a buzz cut, that's just her saying, "I hate men." By the way,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
women with buzz cuts hate men.
And people forget that it was like the person that made it cool was Rihanna, and back in like 07, 06, like cutting the hair short, and it was like a rebel to like, oh, we're gonna go ahead and do what we want and not let men control us. But the problem is that when men aren't in control, things get out of control.
Yeah.
Because it's just fucking chaos with them.
Oh, it's clearer than ever that feminism has failed.
Oh, yeah. I think one of the biggest failures ever, and the problem with feminism is, and it's not just that feminism in itself is destructive, it brings in other destructive movements alongside it, because it always starts with feminism and then all the bullshit follows that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, we used to be mean to black people. Now we need to give them reparations and Section 8 housing.
Anytime people talk about reparations, it's the most ludicrous concept ever that these fucking black nationalists, don't even get me started on reparations. I've gotten into like full on like shouting matches with people about this shit. It's the stupidest concept ever.
Why aren't you embarrassed? You should be embarrassed asking for reparations. You're asking for handouts. You're a white supremacist if you're asking for reparations.
Yeah.
Because you're asking for white people to pay more taxes so you can get free money. So you admit we're better than you. You want to leech. You're demanding to leech more. I think you're a white supremacist.
Well, and they already got their reparations. In my opinion, if you just look at how much we've spent on the welfare and all these other social programs, I mean, it's
the crime,
it's crazy.
No,
they're looking at it like I agree with you that like they've already gotten it with, grants, funds, scholarships, certain initiatives that only allow black people in, right? We basically exercise a bunch of reverse discrimination for their benefit that ostracize other people that might be qualified of a different skin color or background. Mm-hmm. So, but the problem is that they're looking at it like, well, we didn't get the direct benefit of that. We want the cash so we can decide how we do our journey. We don't want you guys to decide for the government. So the problem with reparations is, number one, how are you going to identify who deserves it? Number two, who's going to pay for it? Number three, isn't it kind of ludicrous to tell people that never had slaves that they have to pay for slaves that they never had?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it's a wild concept. So, yeah, man, people are stupid, bro. It's just people want handouts is what it comes down to, and it's embarrassing for everybody. And it's like, it's funny because like one of the guys on the college campus the other day was like, because he was like, I made a comment, I said black people are crooks. So what you mean by that? And I was like, well, I don't want to live in a fucking black neighborhood. It is what it is. I don't think anybody does, right? I'm just one of the few people that says it like it is. Yeah. And then I was talking about how, a lot of guys get into school that are idiots that don't deserve to be there a lot of times because of DEI or whatever. And then he said, well, they grew up in the hood, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, well, don't black people have agency? He was like, what? I was like, don't they have agency? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, bro. And this guy
how'd
said
you
he
make it into college?
Yeah, and he said, I got like a 3.5 GPA.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, college is so unimpressive. I think 90% of the kids at college should not be there.
Stupid. I remember, dude, like, to get into like a good school, you actually have to like study your ass off, not be a fucking moron, whatever. But I think since like COVID happened and so like college enrollment is down, like they're approving more people or something. Yeah. But like, because more people go to college now than before. Like my generation, you too, because you're not that much younger than me. Like if you didn't go to school, you were considered a failure, right? Yeah. Like if you didn't go to college and you grew up, if you're like born in the 90s, like everyone said, go to school, go to school, go to school. Nowadays, it's like going to school is like kind of stupid because number one, it's super expensive. Mm-hmm. Like to put things in perspective, the school I went to was like $40,000 a year when I went. Now it's like $80K, $70K. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's like double in price in like 10 years. So,
and the degrees aren't worth anything.
They're not.
Is the main problem.
They're not worth shit.
And there's no jobs when you get out.
Yeah.
So
the jobs you get are just you make just enough where, like you were talking about this last night, where it locks you into a pay grade where you really have no control over your life, and that's all the majority of those jobs are. You basically have to be like an entrepreneur to break out now.
Yeah, you're nowadays, dude. Like, if someone says they got a college degree, they're still stupid a lot of the times, unless like they went to like, I hate to say like unless they went to like an Ivy League school, but like a lot of the times, like unless they're going to like a top tier school, they're still stupid. And even if they do go to the top tier school, there's still a high likelihood they're stupid. So what I've realized just in general is that people lost their critical thinking skills and people are stupid. And then they don't have the ability to like take themselves out of the situation. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by this. I'll say something along the lines of, I grew up in a Muslim household, I'm black and Arab, but I understand that importing a bunch of Muslims probably isn't a good idea for the United States long term.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that that goes directly against what my lineage and my background, I understand that bringing them in isn't good for American values because unfortunately, the Islamic faith Sharia law does not align with democratic values. It's simple. It's a fact. But if I say that, oh well, that's offensive. You shouldn't be saying that because like you're not white. Why are you saying shit like that? And this is where I'm like realize like people are idiots. The truth is the truth regardless of who says it, right?
Yes.
If we want to maintain the United States the way it was founded, we got to keep the majority of the people that founded it the same. And when I explain this to people, they get pissed off and say like, oh, well, you're a racist, you're a bigot. I'm like, well, okay. I've been to the Arab world before. I've been to UAE. You go to the UAE, you commit a crime as an outsider, you're going to jail. And not only are you going to go to jail, they have an apartheid system where if you're not an Emirati, you're going to do significantly way more time than an Emirati. If you get caught with drugs, you're going to jail for at least a decade. But if you're an Emirati, you get caught with drugs, they're going to just put you on like some program where you don't have to, where you rehab, right?
In America and Europe, it's the opposite. If a little 13-year-old Scottish girl doesn't want to get raped, so she carries an axe around with her,
I saw that, yeah.
We put her in jail, and no punishment for the Pakistani rapist that, arrived on a boat a few weeks ago. Nick did a whole thing on it recently, anarcho-tyranny.
Yeah.
Where there's no rules, especially if you're black. You get to do whatever you want. If a white person defends themselves, you could get Derek Chauvin, go to prison for life for defending yourself. So we have anarchy, and then at the same time, if you're driving 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, you're going to get a $750 speeding ticket. So I'm at a point now, I was radicalized after COVID, but what really, the nail in the coffin for me, on cops in particular, was I got a $750 speeding ticket from a fat white woman cop driving through Georgia. At 11 p.m. at night, no one on the road, $750 speeding ticket. And I was like, we don't have a border. There's crime everywhere. And what do you spend? And we pay taxes for you to be a cop. And what are you spending your time doing? Harassing white people. People on their way to work or whatever. I can point to you a neighborhood right over there where they need police to patrol it. That's not what cops are doing. They're handing out speeding tickets. I'm against handing out speeding tickets. If all the crime was gone, maybe we can talk about speeding tickets. But it's the fact that we simultaneously have all this danger, burglary, theft, all this stuff, and that's not what cops are focused on. Because the cop also is going to lose their job, lose their pension if they go stop the real crime,
Yeah. There's not.
So they just go after white people. They go out because those are the only people that'll put up with a cop and actually pay the ticket.
They'll comply. There's no real incentive to try to get like a violent criminal. What you're gonna?
There's disincentives. Yeah. You'll lose your job.
Yeah, you might.
And the guy will get out anyways.
And all that shit.
Well, they found this out after the Ferguson effect, right? They call it the Ferguson effect, where when law enforcement ends up making an arrest or whatever, and it gets like a lot of news, maybe a suspect was killed, especially if it was a black suspect or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's up happening is nowadays we live in such a racially, motivated legal system where if a cop kills a black person, they're definitely going to convene a grand jury and try to indict you, even if you are in the right. Because what ends up happening is after the George Floyd riots, prosecutors realized, oh shit, if we don't charge them, they're going to burn the city down regardless of whether the shooting or the act was justified or not. So we might as well prosecute, let the people, avoid the civil unrest, and then let the jury find them innocent down the road, right? So that way they can pass the buck to the people. And then on the Derek Chauvin thing, I forgot to mention this too, there was a Black Lives Matter fucking guy on the jury. Yeah. Incredible. And he lied in voir dire. He said, oh yeah, no, I'm not like a Black Lives Matter activist, because they asked him explicitly, right? Because they have to make sure that people aren't biased. Yeah. Are you a BLM, whatever, are you a BLM supporter, or you've ever been in the organization? He said no, and then they found Facebook pictures of him at fucking rallies.
Yeah.
Or with it like, stop, I can't breathe shit.
He was like throwing a cement block.
Yeah. Yeah, and he had like, I think he had like a I can't breathe shirt or whatever, or putting his fist up. But regardless, like, it was a blatant fucking lie. But they let him stay on, and Sherman ended up getting convicted. So this is where we are in America now, where it's like cops are scared to do their job and actually fight real fucking crime.
Yeah.
Because if they do, they could get prosecuted. And this actually hurts people, because this event happened, like an event like George Floyd happens, right?
Yeah.
Now the cops are scared from doing their job. So they're not actively policing high crime areas to stop crime, because they're like, well, the more I actively police, the more I can interact with people. The more I interact with people, the higher the likelihood of use of force, the higher the likelihood of use of force, the likelihood of me shooting them or killing them goes up, and then I lose my job, or I'm under investigation by internal affairs. And I used to work in law enforcement. I'll tell you guys, being under investigation by internal affairs fucking sucks, right? Granted, I wasn't in real trouble, so they didn't take my gun from me or anything like that. But if you get like in a shooting or any of that other stuff, you're going to be riding the desk for a bit, depending on which agency you work for, right? It sucks. You don't know if you're going to get your job. They might put you on paid leave. You can be indicted. You can be charged. And now with the way things are racially motivated, you might get a DA that's politically motivated, or a mayor that's like, you need to go ahead and push. Now you got your job is being politicized to push an agenda, because the mayor wants votes, so they want to go ahead and show like, we're not going to tolerate racism or bigotry. And then on top of that, let's assume that you get convicted by the state. Now the FBI is going to come in and hit you with a civil rights violation, like they did with the Chauvin case, because they just piggybacked off the state case. He got convicted. Cool, let's go ahead and do the civil rights one. And Chauvin ended up pleading guilty for that to get put in federal prison to protect himself. Yeah. But this is where we are now, where it actually hurts everybody long term to do these politically motivated prosecutions based on race.
Yeah, no, it's a joke, and the country's obviously going to get worse the less white it gets, is another thing I say all the time. I don't know, have you heard?
I agree with that. And I know people hate me saying that as someone who should be saying that based on my skin color and my background, but the truth is the truth, bro. Dude, the truth is the truth. Like, let's be honest here. Anyone that's watching, nobody wants to live in a fucking neighborhood with a bunch of blacks. You don't want to live in a neighborhood with a bunch of minorities, right? No. Maybe some Indians here and there and some Asians.
You don't even want to live near the Section 8 housing.
Hell no.
We were about to buy a house and found out recently that they're about to build Section 8 housing like a mile away, and we're out. Yeah. We're not going to buy this house anymore.
It was everything.
They're literally going to, this black mayor in Florence, South Carolina is just said, oh, we're putting Section 8 housing right here, and all these people are pissed about it. They're selling their home and moving out. That's why this house was for sale. We didn't know until actually we talked to some locals from Florence last night. Yeah. Really glad we met those guys. And they were like, oh, don't buy that. And I was like, why? This place is awesome. And it's a great price. And they were like, yeah, it's that price because it's about to get fucked by Section 8 housing.
And I'll tell you guys something. I'm a real estate investor too. And I've had Section 8 housing tenants. They're the fucking worst, dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because they're on Section 8 because they're not responsible, right?
Yes.
So like if you do like a little tip for people that want to be a real estate investor, if you're going to do a Section 8 housing, make sure that you're in a place that's extremely rent stable. Because if you try to raise the rent and then you tell that Section 8 housing guy, let's say rent's $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, rents went up. It's got to be $1,200, and let's say they agree. Yeah, I'll pay you the $1,200. I'll give you $200 of my own, and then the state pays the other $1,000. Dude, don't do that because they'll never pay. That's the whole reason why they're on Section 8 is because they're irresponsible and fucking.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, Section 8 housing. No one wants to live in a neighborhood with a bunch of ghetto people who unfortunately tends to be black. And like saying this as a colored person is considered like, racist or fucked up or whatever, but I truly do think that, like, fuck your feelings. What is the truth? The truth is that black people do a bunch of bullshit. Nobody wants to live around them. Neither do I. And to admit that is considered bigoted or whatever, but hey, the truth is the truth, man.
There's good blacks, but the Section 8, and Section 8 doesn't necessarily mean black. There could be a white person on Section 8
Hispanics,
housing,
whatever,
or Hispanic, but if there's Hispanics or whites on Section 8, they're probably not good people either.
Yeah.
If you're on Section 8, something went wrong.
Very wrong.
But this mayor in Florence is going to ruin this entire neighborhood. I don't know, just cause she can. And I was like, how is this allowed? You can't fight it, or there's nothing anyone can do to fight this? And apparently not. All the boomers that live in this country club are all pissed about it, and they just can't even stop it. This mayor's like, yeah, sorry, we're doing Section 8. But all the money lost, these people had these homes they've lived in for years, and now they have to sell it at a discount. Like the Section 8 isn't even built yet, and already people are losing money, getting fucked just by the expectation that the Section 8 is housing is coming. So
and who knows what's actually going to come when they actually move in, and you got the people there, and then you get crime rates every year going up or down. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's ridiculous, man. It's the fact that, like, you know, and this is kind of why this is my issue when it comes to like education and stuff. People don't have the ability to critically think, especially if it goes against like their own self-interest, right? Mm-hmm. So like if a woman comes down and says, you know what, I think abortion is bad. We probably should, you know, think about, you know, figuring something out. They're like, oh, look at you, you're a bigot. Like, you're a woman. You shouldn't be having that opinion. That's the wrong opinion for you to have as a woman. As if like critically thinking where even if something doesn't necessarily benefit you, but it's better for the people overall or better for society, you can't say it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's amazing that you're black and you're saying that.
Yeah.
It's like
that's the number one thing I get. They tell me, Myron, you know that these people hate you, right? Like, they if they got the chance, they would totally deport you. I'm like, look, I'm not saying this because I give a fuck about what they think. I'm saying this because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. Like, the thing is that I have my principles, right? My principles are my principles, and I don't care about what people think. I just go off of what the truth is, right? So, like, I'll give you an example. People get mad at me for saying that I think freedom of speech is very important. I think that if we got black people and Asians and Mexicans and Hispanics and all these other groups of people that practice extreme nationalism and they throw their flag and they say, yes, black power, viva la raza, I love being Asian, right? Korea. Like, I think white people should be able to do that too. Oh, why do you say that, Myron? These people would deport you if you got the chance. It's because I'm being consistent. Like, because I think it's important for people to be able to exercise nationalism regardless. Even if a fucking Jew wants to run around and say, I'm Israel high, I will defend their right to say that even though I dislike Israel. Because I am being consistent. I think you should love your people and there's nothing wrong with being nationalistic. But they'll get mad and draw the line where, oh, well, these people would not support you if they actually had power. That's irrelevant. That's not what matters. I'm being consistent in my belief system. I'm not going to change it because one group of people might not necessarily like me. I don't give a fuck about that. It's about being consistent in my worldview. But people just don't get that.
Well, like, I'm one of the ambassadors for the white race.
Sure.
So Myron gets a white card. We will not deport.
I appreciate that.
When Nick Fuentes becomes president in 2036, we'll let Myron stay.
So if you enjoyed that clip,
then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.